So, Jacob Benjani says, programming's so crazy. Like, how does this actually mean anything? So let's talk about it. This right here is an immediately invoked function expression. And let's talk through it one piece at a time. So in JavaScript, we execute things one line at a time. And an expression is basically a piece of code that returns something. In this case, this expression returns nothing. However, this expression returns an empty object. And JavaScript, because it executes one line at a time, will see this line and execute it. With or without the semicolon, doesn't matter. JavaScript adds them automatically. So right there we have an expression. A function expression is an expression that contains a function. So if we do function, and then you take in the parameters for the function, no parameters in this case, and then there it goes. That is a function declared. Normally you do something like that, but this is fine too. And in modern JavaScript, you can have an expression function where you declare the function like this instead. It's essentially the same thing. There are some subtle differences, but we won't go into them now. So that's an expression, function expression, and immediately invoked. So like I said before, an expression returns something. And in JavaScript, this expression will return a function. It will return the function in here. And since you now have a function object on the expression, you can immediately invoke it. When you invoke a function like console.log, for example, this on its own is completely valid JavaScript. Like, this is an expression on its own, and what it will return is just the function console.log. In order to invoke that function, you have to add the brackets in there. So that is how you invoke a function. And because we've returned a function from our expression here, we can immediately invoke it inside here. The reason that you would want to do immediately invoked function expressions is there's many reasons for it. And in the early days of JavaScript, one of the things that you'd want to do is you want to separate your the code that is inside your immediately invoked function expression from the rest of your program. If I, for example, use a bit of old school JavaScript var x, then that variable is hoisted and put on the global execution context. It's put on the window object. So once this is declared, you can do window.x anywhere in your application, and it will get this variable. However, if we do var x inside here, and then try and access it outside of the immediately invoked function, it will not be found because it doesn't exist on the global context. It exists within the closure of this immediately invoked function expression. And as we mentioned before, it is immediately invoked. So if I do console.log, if I type correctly, that'll be a bit better. I am invoked. And save. Then we'll run this. I am invoked. There you go. And you can see the take from when I got my microphone wrong. But there you go. So that is an immediately invoked function expression. And I hope that helps answer your question, Jacob. Have a good one.